Welcome to the Call to the Work podcast. I'm excited to sit down with a person from the ward that I attend in the young single adult ward here in Spokane, Washington, Koy Gregerson, and just have a conversation with him about his upcoming mission. And excited to learn more about that and just get some framework started for the next couple of years of his life. So, Koy, why don't you take just a minute and tell me a little bit about yourself, your family, where you're from, and maybe some hobbies?
From Spokane, Washington. I've always lived here. A little bit about myself. I am 20 years old. I graduated East Valley High School, and then I went to BYU, Idaho for 2 semesters. And I was planning to major in computer science, but then I heard there's an upset in that industry, so I decided to come back and maybe serve a mission and see how the job field's looking after 2 years. And some of my hobbies, like to read a lot. I do a lot of drawing as well. I've been teaching myself how to do a little bit of sketching and a lot of references and stuff.
Super cool. So, in reading and drawing, do you have like a certain genre that you enjoy, a certain type of those types of reading and drawing?
Reading, I try to read a lot of classics, a lot of old stuff. One of my favorites is like The Count of Monte Cristo. That's a really good long one. Catcher in the Rye is another one of my favorites. In drawing, I don't really do cartoony stuff. I try to keep it real. I just do references. I'm trying to just learn, and then maybe I can be a little creative and do some stuff. I have like a drawing tablet I do that on, and then I've been trying to do like digital painting on like MS Paint. So yeah.
Super cool. And that's some heavy reading, The Count of Monte Cristo and Catcher in the Rye. I love that you're diving deep into that. So, tell me a little bit about what mission you were assigned to and what language you'll be speaking for the next couple of years.
I was assigned to the Texas Houston mission, Spanish speaking, so I'm really excited about that.
And so, with that call, the Texas Houston mission, Spanish speaking, what were your thoughts when you first opened your call?
I was really excited. I'm glad that I got a non-English mission so I can like challenge myself. I've never been to Houston, so I'm interested to see what that's like and learning Spanish at the Mexico City MTC. That's going to be a really interesting experience, I think. Yeah. It was
I
just
love
a
it.
mix of really good emotions.
Oh, that's really good. So, and we'll get a little bit further into that, but so, Coy, why did you choose to serve a mission?
It was among my long-term plans and just but I hadn't really nailed down when I would serve. I was my first couple semesters of college, it was in the back of my mind. I was like, am I really learning a whole lot here? Would now be a good time to maybe break off and serve a mission? And then I finally got home from winter break from college and I was really considering it. And one day I got just an email out of nowhere from one of my friends from seminary who reached out and asked how I was doing. And he signed off with like Elder and then his last name. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I had no idea he was even on a mission. And then he was talking about his mission and telling me about it. And it really encouraged me to really consider it. And I was like, yeah, I think this is a sign because I don't know how he got that email. I think he just probably guessed, but it was a really appreciated message from him.
So, some kid that you hadn't spoken to in a while sends you an email, signs off Elder so and so, and it just triggered those thoughts in your mind. Hey, maybe that's what I need to do. Am I interpreting that correctly?
That's exactly what happened.
That's cool. Where is God's hand in that? Do you see God saying, "Hey, Coy, here's something for you"?
I don't think it was a coincidence. I think that I'm stubborn with stuff. I'm like, that's not a that's just a coincidence. That's not telling me to do that. This isn't, but that was just like a wake up call. There's not going to be any other sign. You have to go now.
That's a really cool experience. Thanks for sharing that. All right, so let's look ahead a little bit into your mission. What are some personal goals or maybe achievements or maybe some lessons that you hope to learn over the next couple of years while serving a mission?
I hope to get fluent in Spanish. I didn't take Spanish in high school. I took French, so I'm totally new to the language. It's going to be a learning process, but I think I'd really like to stick with it and really try, even though I'll be in the States. But I think there'll be a lot of serving and teaching opportunities if I commit myself to the language. Also, I know I just really love to serve. Service projects are always fun for me. I feel like an mission's like a 2 year long service project almost. So I think that'll be a lot of interesting experiences to help the people of Texas.
That's cool. Are there any skills like time management that you're thinking about developing, or do you feel like you're pretty good at that type of stuff already?
I think when it comes to it, I'll step up and when I'm working or whatever, I usually am really strict about bedtimes and being productive. I think I need that structure in my life and I'm seeking it out.
Excellent. Thank you, Coy. All right. So as you look ahead into this next couple of years, do you have any fears about going and serving? Is there anything that you're like, man, I am not looking forward to this aspect of what I hear missionary work is about?
Well, I hear a lot of the missionaries in Spokane talking about how they get yelled at a lot, and I'm not really confrontational, and I think that'll be good. I don't think it'd be good to yell back, but I don't like people being mad at me for stuff. People think that people in Texas are nice. I'm hoping that the stereotype holds true. I'm optimistic, but I'm skeptical.
Yeah. Are you comfortable like meeting new people, or is that a maybe a little bit of a fear also?
I think I'm decent at meeting new people. I think I'll be able to put myself in the headspace where I'm like, I'm on my mission. This is my whole job. I need to do this. So that I think I'll probably come around to it.
I love this attitude that you're going into this with. Hey, this is going to be my job. This is what I'm going to be doing for 2 years. So I'm just going to dive in. What are you excited about experiencing over the next 2 years?
So, I'm really excited to just go out every day, maybe sometimes with not knowing what's going to happen, but just following the guidance of the Spirit and seeing where it takes us, me and my companion, and hopefully meeting a lot of kind people and leading them to the gospel.
That sounds good. All right. So from 100 years ago when I served my mission and from talking with lots of other people about missionary work, there's hard times. And hard times are going to come. So, how do you anticipate that you will deal with struggles, whether it be health issues, whether it be sadness, homesickness, or anything like that? How do you feel you're going to be able to deal with those?
I think it'll be important to, well, if my companion's struggling, I'll try to help him out. And if I'm struggling, I hope he'd be there to help me out and talk me through it. I think that's why you have a companion there. You're in that together. There's nothing that you have to go through alone. And I'm not too worried about homesickness. I didn't really feel that at college, and I was like 7 hours away from home. I don't know if that'll be an issue.
Well, good. Once again, I like the mindset that you're jumping into this with. All right, so the name of this project is Called to the Work, and it's inspired from Doctrine and Covenant section 4, and that's in verse 3, where it says, therefore, if ye have desires to serve God, ye are called to the work. Now, is there anything in Doctrine and Covenants 4 that sticks out to you that you can teach me about from some takeaways that you have it there?
I have it pulled up right here. I really enjoyed verse 4. For behold, the field is white, all ready to harvest, and lo, he that thrusteth his sickle with his might, the same layeth up in store that he perisheth not, but bringeth salvation to his soul. I really like that because I like the analogy of like a field where when you go on your mission, there's going to be opportunities. There's not going to be any lack of opportunities. You just have to seek them out and find them. There's people to be taught, there's things to be done, there's people to help, even in your own ward that might already be members. So I think that that really stuck out to me, and I really like that message.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I love that verse too. Good stuff. All right, so as we close this up, are you willing to take just a minute and bear testimony of a principle or of a topic in the gospel that you have a firm testimony about?
I have a very firm testimony on service and its presence in the gospel. I'm obviously very passionate about it because I wouldn't be agreeing to go 2 years on a mission if I didn't want to serve other people and didn't have that urge. I think it is very helpful to both the people that you are serving and yourself. It's very relaxing. It'll bring you closer to Jesus Christ, and it brings the spirit whenever a service project is going on. That's when I feel like closest to the spirit. It's one of the verses where it says, when you're in service of your fellow man, you're only in the service of your God. That's one of my favorite verses in the Book of Mormon that really sticks in my head, and I'm always thinking about that. So that's my testimony.
Thank you for sharing that. And I have one more question for you before we close up. Tell me about your current relationship with your Savior Jesus Christ. What is that like right now?
I'd say when I was in high school, it was lacking. I went to seminary, but it was just like doing the same thing day in and day out, not really paying attention. And then when I went to college, it was a church school, so I think that really brought me closer because I was taking religion classes and I was going to church, and the same people I'd see in my classes, I'd see at church, and it was my roommates were like my ward mates. It was all a very nice experience, and that kind of brought me closer. And then coming home when I was doing all the things that led up to a mission, I think that also brought me closer, getting endowed and following through on a lot of other things. I think right now I'm closest to the Savior that as I've ever been.
All right, Coy, with all of the authority that I do not have, I confirm to you that you are called to the work, man. You are called to the work. I'm excited for you to get out there and do it, and I'm your biggest fan. I'm here on the sidelines cheering you on, so I'm excited to see you go do that, and excited to see you come back in a couple of years and see what growth and changes have happened.